don't need any kind of splish-splash magic to make a difference. A real warrior knows the best way to help those in need is to give them money. And you can do that by going to our patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. For less than the cost of the third boomerang you've lost this week, you can support our show as bonus episodes, exclusive content, and early access just for you. Again, that's patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. It's the best deal this side of the water, tribe.
A drill? Bah! Child's play. We have the real secret to invade the Earth Kingdom. You hear that background sound effect going on back there? Our team is working on it right now. Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to infiltrate Ba Sing Se. Keep it up, boys. I'm committing this declaration of war on fictional country with my one and only co-host, Ryan Metters.
Yarr! I don't know why I'm a pirate.
Oh, we're yes, Andy. We're rolling this thing. Yarr, we're doing this. Arr. You be setting sail to our... I'm done. You can go to our links down below. To Patreon, YouTube, Pippa, all the other ones. They're all down there. I don't know what we're doing. You can follow some platforms of choice. Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. Ryan, if they want to email us about how silly our fucking intros are, what can they email us at?
They can email us at ryanfuckingsucksatimprov@gmail. Excuse me. Sorry. No, that's evacstation@gmail.com.
I don't think you suck at it. You do a good yes and you jump in and roll with it.
I try.
But you do take it in directions I don't prepare for, and it throws me off just a wee bit. So we're back in Avatar. It's just the two of us this week. Everyone else is either sick, dead, or MIA. It happens. Hopefully less dead than the others, but we'll see. Today, we'll be talking about the first episode for this week, The Drill, airing September 9th in 2006, written by Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. So the showrunners are back again. Directed by Giancarlo Volpe. The cast includes two new voices, Barry Dennen as General Sun, and Christopher Tabori as the War Minister. We have one award for this episode, actually, Ryan. Best Directing in an Animated TV Production for this episode.
You know, I can see it, cause I mean, there were a lot of moving parts in this episode that had to be tackled, and I thought it came together really, really well. So the fact that it was only 30 minutes long and still managed to be really, really good, yeah.
I would say there are other episodes in the season I would pick for my best directed one, but this is pretty solid stuff. I would definitely argue that you could do worse. So, Ryan, you have some fun facts for us.
I do. I have two, in fact. The events pertaining to this episode would be referenced later on in the Ember Island layers. When the scene cuts to the audience, many people are either nodding off or asleep, alluding to the lukewarm reception this episode had with the fan base. Plebeians, all of you, this was a lot of fun. This was an action-packed episode. Anyway.
It's a fun episode, but arguably it's not a very deep episode.
True, and like they kind of like they're probably still lethargic from the fact that they lost Appa, and there's like no Appa in sight. So
I'm kind of salty. I'm kind of salty. Chaz isn't here to talk about the lack of Appa.
It feels like this episode definitely has like really, really cool things about it, and I love it. But it does feel like a bit of a break from the main story to do something a little more action-paced to kind of pick up people's energy level after they just got gut punched.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see a good old Ant-Man to your end game, if you will.
Yeah. That's I think that's a very apt analogy. But getting ahead of myself, we'll save that. Next fun fact and last fun fact. It is interesting to note that, based on the apparent hydraulic components of the drill, simply sabotaging the hydraulic system by busting numerous pipes and valves might have actually brought the drill to a halt much faster than the wildly inefficient strategy that the team employs, but it would not have nearly been as visually appealing.
I don't know. You could probably talk about how using water bending to do that would have been interesting.
Interesting, yeah, but I mean, like making all of these faults in the system, and then Aang hitting it with one strike that essentially breaks the entire fucking drill. That's pretty cool.
The other thing to consider, too, is even if they did, and this is one of the questions for later, so we can just talk about it now, but the thing to consider, too, is if they had done it the hydraulic method, they probably could have fixed that a little easier, whereas breaking the whole thing the way they did probably would have made it just inoperable forever at this point. You have to rebuild a lot of stuff to make it back to where it was, and I don't think they can. So, especially
there were a lot of thick metal beams that were snapped in half.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got a quick synopsis here for you, Ryan. Are you ready?
I am. Let's get it.
Azula is back with her latest and greatest creation, the egg drill, to infiltrate Ba Sing Se. Wah! She and her badniks are there to protect the drill for the glory of the Fire Nation. Meanwhile, Zuko and Iroh arrive in Ba Sing Se. Zuko turns down Jet's offer to be in his boy band, to which Jet takes offense. He then catches a whiff of Iroh firebending, and the racism cranks to, 11. The gang reunites after having been separated for all of 10 minutes. They rally to stop the drill. Sokka devises a wildly inefficient plan that still works. Azula is defeated. Again, we're off to see the Wizard of Ba Sing Se.
I mean, I want to give Sokka a little more credit. He does manage to figure out how to break down this technological marvel in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider the fact this is elapsed time too, so while it's 20 or 30 minutes to us, it's probably maybe an hour and a half for them, possibly.
Fair, but that's still impressive.
No, I'm not saying it's not impressive. I mean, the fact that a teenager is able to pull this kind of thing off is impressive. But there are definitely smarter ways they could have gone about it, but for the route they took, they did it. That's the important thing. It's like Deus Ex, Ryan. It doesn't matter how you get to the end of the game. You got there. That's the important thing.
Did you kill every single person? Did you do stealth the whole way? Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. No, Ryan, I stealthed everybody and then killed them afterward, just to make sure that they didn't see me.
Establish your dominance.
So yeah, we got some discussion questions for you, Ryan. We already talked a little bit about it, but let's see. Yeah, no, we can skip that first one. We basically talk about why they did the drill breaking the way they did. I mean, obviously,
visually appealing, yeah.
So then I guess we'll just jump to the next one. Is Jet justified in his anger at Iroh and Zuko, or should he just move on like Smellerbee recommends?
Yes, he should absolutely move on. His wise friends are like, hey, you said we were starting new. We were going to have a cool, simple life. Fucking be a man of your word. We talked about this a little bit last week when we introduced the whole Jet and Zuko thing. But the parallel that they're doing with these two characters of one who they're both trying to leave the past behind them, and
one simply can't.
I mean they're trying and they're having a hard time, but you see Jet is the clear-cut example of what happens when you don't. And later on we get to see Zuko attempt to make a different choice. We'll get there. I'm episodes ahead. But yeah, you get to see the juxtaposition of these two characters, I think specifically for this reason. So I absolutely don't think that he's justified in it, but I mean, I also think it's crucial for Jet's character because it makes total sense that he wouldn't, because he's such a zealot. But it also it's a core pillar for this part of the story. This part of the story works so well because Jet cannot change who he is.
And it brings to mind, and I know this is going to get deep here, but this brings to mind real life hatred for people based on past experiences. To me, Jet represents someone angry at a certain race or certain country for how they treated him or his people when he was a child, and that's just how he always grew up with that image in his head, and so he can't move on past it. So it's hard for me to be angry or be upset about his reaction when that's just how he always has been, and it's not so much that he never learned better, it's just that that's all he's ever experienced. It's hard to really learn how good a firebender can be if you've never had a good example of a firebender to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a hard pill to swallow. Hopefully, I guess I can't say hopefully because we know how it ends, but
I don't want to. Yeah, you do bring up a good point. Like, I mean, like it's not just like, a firebender cut him in line at a restaurant one day, and he's vowed to hate them all, like ever since. Like this
fucking
like,
firebender.
like Jet has lived through tragedies and like atrocities that were committed by the Fire Nation. Like all the fire, like everybody from the Fire Nation that he's encountered, or I'm sorry, the majority of people that he has encountered from the Fire Nation have led to just full-on horrible things happening. So unlearning that hatred is absolutely not an overnight thing. But
oh no, we're not excusing it by any means.
But you have to try. You have to be willing to try. Even if Jet harbored those suspicions and just kept an eye out for if anything bad happened, that would be a whole different thing. But he's going so far as to stalk these guys and to put traps.
Oh, we aren't there yet. We aren't there yet.
Well, yeah, but again, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Suffice it to say, he never gives them the chance to be better.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he liked that he actually was so cool with Zuko and asked him to join them, and then all of that goodwill is completely taken out by the fact that his uncle had a cup of hot tea. That's some leaps, man. That's some leaps in logic. And even though he's right in the fact that guessing that they are from the Fire Nation, the fact that he had such goodwill that was just wiped out in less than a second from just the pure
speculation.
The speculation that they might be from a different country. Yeah, he's never letting that go. He can't let that go.
Jet, you get a lot of mileage out of Jet's character, more than you'd expect. For a character I thought was going to just be a one-off, oh hey, not every villain's a Fire Nation guy. He got a lot more mileage out of him, and he's a lot deeper and more complex of an element in this show than I would have ever expected him to be. So kudos to the team for pulling that off. That's impressive. Very impressive.
Absolutely. I thought he was a very well done one-off character to really give some complexity to the world, and I thought it was excellent in his first episode, but bringing him back to parallel with Zuko is just that's so good. That's so brilliant. So yeah, kudos to you guys. You killed it. You knocked it out the park with this guy.
So Pearl's fun facts, Ryan. The fan base is not too hype on this episode upon release. Why do you think that was the case, and do you agree with their assessment?
I mean, so yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I think that I think largely the fan base might have still been recovering, or at least just trying to accept the fact that Appa was gone, and there's no recovering him in sight so far. So it's just we might never see Appa again. And this episode, while cool, feels a bit filler-esque. I personally wouldn't consider it to be filler, because it's
plot still happens,
yeah, plot happens, and it's a big reason why they're actually allowed into Ba Sing Se. So I feel it's not filler, but in terms of how the story had been going prior to this, it feels detached from that. It's all right, we got to pick these guys up for a little bit, so let's get them into a big action.
It feels more like Fight of the Week than it does recurring narrative.
Yeah. It's we're gonna bring back Azula and her angels. We're gonna have like some fun technological stuff. We're gonna have Sokka being smart in an unconventional way. We're gonna have a big bender battle. Like, we're just gonna do all these fun things, and maybe, just maybe, they won't think about the fact that Appa was literally snatched in front of their eyes, and we'll never see him again.
I would add to it too. There's two things I would probably add to that. One is that we don't get any resolution to the Appa thing, and I think that I get why we don't. It comes up soon. Don't worry, guys. But I think people are just like, at this point, they want to know, where's Appa? When are we gonna get him back? Like, there's a lot of like fervor around that probably at this point.
Death.
But also, the action in this episode, while a nice change of pace from the darker episodes we've been dealing with lately, it's not the most polished or snazzy animation we've gotten. It's pretty cut and dry, pretty straightforward and simple. And it's not any shot at the animation team. It's a good animation work. It's just that, like, you don't see them pushing the limits like you see in other fights. It just seems very straightforward and very conventional in terms of like the bending and the fighting and all that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not so sure I agree with you there. I mean, because you have the gang taking on Azula and her angels. I'm never gonna not call them that because it just works too well. Azula's Angels, featuring Azula. No, it'd be IA. Anyway, sorry.
No, Azula's spelled with an A, man.
I'm sorry, I'm just fucking brain damaged. Never mind me. Jesus Christ. Izula. Izula? No. Alright,
Izula.
Anyway.
Break up with the iPod.
But I mean, we haven't had a good, like, team fight in a while. You get a lot of inventive uses with, like, the water mixing with the sand so that Katara and Toph can work together to try and stop the drill and back it up. You have Aang getting to really show how proficient he is becoming at earthbending, because, like, this is the first combat where he's actually rocking earthbending, and against Azula of all people, who we know is top tier. So like him getting to kind of like battle test his new bending style and like work that in with the other styles was a lot of fun. So I don't know, it didn't feel kind of by the book for me, because at this point in time in the combat we are seeing a lot of new stuff, and they get the really fun set piece of the drill to fight on top of.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit. I guess maybe I'm thinking more of like later episodes when things get like really intense. So maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like later, this has nothing on Sozin's Comet, But I mean, like for where we are in the story, I think it's pretty good. Like I think some innovations are being made.
Which team Avatar name do you like best?
Damn, what were the other ones that were thrown out?
Let me look up real quick. I don't remember off the top of my head. I know there was the Boomerang Squad, which I like that one a lot, personally.
Now, if they had started calling them that when they were all older, then I would absolutely like get into that. It's like when they're all like Grandma Toph level. They're all like, yeah, we're the Boomerang Squad.
Let's see if I can find. Here we go. So let's see. The name of the group was originated by Asaka. He suggested the Boomerang Squad, a portmanteau Boomerang and there's also the Aang Gang, the Fearsome Foursome. Let's see. Didn't he have another one? I guess he also went with just Team Avatar for a good while too.
Well, I mean, like they're largely known as the Gang now.
I mean, especially on this podcast,
which I really do like. I think that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Which I really do like. The Boomerang Squad is just pure Sokka, and I love him so. The Fearsome Foursome I don't like because of who will end up getting eventually, so they would have to change the name anyway.
The Fantastic Five.
Yeah, the Fantastic. The Fantastic Four plus Spider-Man.
No, it'd be the Fantastic Four plus Sokka.
Yeah. Yeah, the Fantastic Four and this guy with the fucking boomerang. What? Who the fuck is that? Yeah, no, I think the gang is the best one, honestly.
I could counter that. Final question for this episode, and like a secondary question to it. Does Azula and her team, do Azula and her team seem like they're bringing their A game here? Why or why not? Because we see them later, and we've seen them before, and they're definitely a threat. They're definitely a challenge. And I get Ty Lee situation was not ideal for her, and I get May didn't really want to do anything anyway. But Azula getting her ass kicked by Aang seems a bit strange, considering how good she is at fighting in every other scenario we've seen her in.
Well, okay, so we already know that Azula by herself is like crazy good, but not like unbeatable. I think also, like, I think the majority of the fight between her and Aang is still really, really good, but I think again, it's because Aang is also starting to incorporate earthbending into his fighting, and they're surrounded by sand, and they're fighting on like this moving contraption. I think she's still a threat, but I think we're seeing the gang be more effective at like you get to it's like coming up on it's like coming up on a Pokemon trainer and realizing you're underleveled, so you go and you grind in the tall grass, and then you come back and you're like, yeah, bitch, let's go. My Rattata evolved. We're gonna get him.
Oh, your Rattata's the top percent. I knew it.
Top percent, yeah, top percentage. Yeah, no, but like that's kind of how it feels to me. I don't feel like aside from May just like not really wanting to do anything, and Ty Lee like and like the mitigating factors of them being there to like use the drill, not at like to get into Ba Sing Se, and not specifically hunting down Team Avatar. Like that's not their full focus. So like there are a lot of mitigating factors, but so I think maybe they weren't at the top of their A game. But I still also think it's a good guide, a good like benchmark to show how much stronger the gang is getting.
I can kind of see too that she probably wasn't prepared for Aang to be any use with the earthbending. Like she expected fire, or she expected water and air, but didn't expect earth, so she probably didn't have any like counter moves prepared for specifically earthbending.
Right.
So
also, like from this point forward, you see it kind of you see her kind of shifting her focus from the Avatar to proving her worth in other ways. Because again, she's not there for Aang. She doesn't even know Aang is going to be there. She's like gotten this whole like contraption and all of these people to break into Ba Sing Se, because that's how she's going to prove her worth to the Fire Nation. And when that doesn't work, then she moves to a different way on how to prove her worth by breaking into the Fire Nation. So it's almost like Aang isn't the focus for her anymore, or at least not at this point in time, because she has to think of something like she has to think of something special to catch him at this point.
Master
I don't know.
Ball.
Maybe that's just she needs a Master Ball. She's got to break into Team Rocket's headquarters. I can't believe I fucking remembered that, dog. That was like grade school, bruh.
Hey, that's where it's at.
Got it.
Final follow-up question on that one. Furthermore, at what point in the timeline does this seem to take place in relation to when they fight and defeat the Kyoshi Warriors in Appa's Lost Days? Because I want to make sure I have the timeline clear. So, is Appa in Ba Sing Se now, captured by you-know-who already? Or is that in the coming episodes, like in between here and when we see him in Appa's Lost Days?
I'm pretty sure that Appa...
I'm not saying the timeline is bad, I'm saying it's fuzzy. I'm not quite sure where things line up 100%.
The timeline is definitely fuzzy, because not only are we away from Appa for a good long time, but we also get, essentially a month or so long time skip in the coming episodes because they stay in Ba Sing Se for a while, just not really doing anything. So yeah, the timeline.
You don't think haikus are doing something? You're doing them wrong.
Fair point, sir. Fair point. But I mean, yeah, there is a period of time in the city that's undefined. So I would say Appa's probably already there, but hasn't been there for a long time, because Appa would have been snatched. He would have had a little bit of trouble with the sandbenders, but he would have been sold, and then they would have gone straight to Ba Sing Se. There was none of this, oh, we have to escort this pregnant woman and her family across a dangerous path, and then assist with the child being born. None of this, oh shit, we gotta stop this drill from getting in the city. None of that. It was just A to B. So I'm guessing Appa's there, but he just got there like a day or so ago.
I'll counter that one. Just to play devil's advocate.
All right, let me get it.
So I think he's not there yet, but he will be there soon. Because we know for a fact that Lon Fane catches him, and it's in the middle of the night. And we know that Lon Fane seems to indicate that he has Appa when he meets the Gain in the next episode. So we know that he's going to be there soon. Whether or not Lon Fane's just toying with him, or whether or not he actually knows that Appa's with him or not, I'm not 100% sure. He's hard to read, honestly. But I would say in the next episode, yes, Appa's there. And if I remember right, in the episode of Tales of Ba Sing Se, or the episode with Appa's Lost Days, and we'll talk about it when we get there, I think when you see Appa fly into Ba Sing Se, he hears the bison whistle, and he thinks it's Aang, and you see the whistle, and you see Aang's in town there with the whistle next to him, so it's implied that Aang is there when Appa shows up. I think.
Huh.
I think.
Shit. Okay, so I think when they meet Long Feng and he starts talking shit about Appa, I think he's straight lying. Because when you think about Appa's Lost Days, and we'll revisit this when we actually get to the episode, but there's a good amount of time that he's a part of the he's a part of the circus before he's let loose and escapes, and then he spends some time in the wilderness and horrible shit happens, and then the Kyoshu warriors find him, and then he flies back, and then he's captured.
Well,
so
I don't think he doesn't even fly back right away. He has to go to the air temple too, doesn't he?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, after all of that, that's when Long Feng gets his hands on him. So I don't think all of that happens in the span of the day before they meet Long Feng. I think he's just talking shit. I think he's just manipulating them at that point.
Well, if anyone wants to let us know in the comments below how they think the timeline goes, be sure to let us know, or email us. Ryan, what's the email?
That email is Long Feng's a piece of shit, and I didn't. Then the outro was really fast, so I didn't have any time to think of anything clever. I mean, it's evacstation@gmail.com.
Oh, we're not even at the outro yet. We're at side B now.
Bruh! I'm confused about the timeline IRL. What is this?
Welcome to Side B, where we're recovering City of Wallace's Secrets, originally airing September 22nd, 2006. Written by Tim Hendrick and directed by Lauren McMullen. JM Animation is back on animation duty. The cast includes a few new names, including George Chun as Pow, Lauren Tom as Judy, and Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor. Wait, wrong show. I mean, Lon Feng.
I knew that asshole sounded familiar.
I love Clancy Brown. He's so good at what he does.
He really is. It takes skill to be a good villain. It really does.
Absolutely. Just ask anyone who's played the Joker. Well, wait, hang on. There's one guy.
Almost anyone who's played the Joker.
Don't worry, he's playing Morbius. It'll be the greatest movie ever made.
Oh, God, fun facts. Let me give these goddamn fun facts real fast. Jesus. All right, we have two of them for you, again, on this side. Avatar Extras for The Blind Bandit states that Toph can detect Earth even when it's not in contact with the ground. This contradicts her being completely unaware of the rock gloves fired at her during the party. I'm not sure if they just forgot or if so much stuff was happening that she just
Toph's like, I can take him. Go ahead. Let's fight. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, she was super dolled up though, so it's just like she was on noble woman mode. Maybe she just wasn't thinking about fighting in combat.
Her guard was probably down. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Well, last up, when the gang finds a notice for the king's pet bear's party, they have a comical exchange about the bear. This highlights the fact that most animals in Avatar world are chimeras, and non-hybrid animals are uncommon. However, in The Waterbending Master, Sokka gives Princess Yue a carved fish, which she mistakes for a bear. The fact that she mistook it for a bear and there was no dialogue to suggest a bear might be something unheard of or out of the ordinary in Avatar world is at odds with the group's reaction in Ba Sing Se. CinemaSin.
Yep. There was a lot of fun facts these episodes. I had to extrapolate a few fun things here, but just a few inconsistencies. Nothing super major, but definitely some oddities that stick out.
Just a bear. You in a platypus bear? No. An armadillo bear? No, just a bear.
Okay,
God, that was good.
So I did write the full scripts for the other ones. I did not write the discussion questions for this one. I just had the synopsis. But we'll wait it. We'll wait it. We got this.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Synopsis. Here we go. Again, the gang has arrived in Ba Sing Se. For reals this time. They are given a tour by a political puppet / Manchurian candidate who tries to keep them from seeing the Earth King. When she is about to fail, none other than Lex Luthor intervenes to tell about how he's taken over Ba Sing Se secretly and is in the background, and even threatens to keep them separated from Appa if they do not cooperate. Meanwhile, Jet defends his rights by attacking Zuko, claiming the Fire Nation is stealing Earth Kingdom jobs. Jet is apprehended by the secret police and brainwashed into believing there's no war in Ba Sing Se, and hate crimes do not exist. Wait, whose side am I supposed to be on here?
Oh my god. Bruh. I'm defending my rights by attacking this waiter. God, that's too real. Sorry.
There was a headline the other day, and it was like an Onion article kind of thing, but the article was something like, man stalks someone for like 20 miles to defend his rights. And I'm like, oh, that's so good.
Oh, God. People are fucking idiots, I swear. All right.
Good stuff, good stuff. So yeah, let's talk about Jet real quick. So Jet's whole story is pretty fucked right here, isn't it?
Oh yeah, man. These are like you get punished for not leaving your past behind. Like throughout the whole episode, like his boys are like, Jet, bruh, stop. Stop it, seriously. And when he gets hauled off by the police for starting a fucking fight in front of the city guards, they just have to let him go. It's just like, all right, man, he can't move past it, man. We can't save him.
Mm-hmm. I'm just sort of in awe of like how on point this is for current 2020 though. Because you have someone here attacking somebody for literally no reason other than just racism, and then he's apprehended. There's brainwashing, there's propaganda involved, and am I supposed to be rooting for the Dai Li in this one? Because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be. I mean, the results are good, right? We stopped the fighting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the ending of this episode is like I think intended to really put you off balance, because it's at this point that you realize that the second season, or at least like the major conflict in the second season, is going to be so unlike what we've had thus far. Like I wasn't expecting a fucking political thriller or like espionage.
I love it though. I really do.
It's one of the reasons why I said a couple weeks ago that like this is probably like this is a really, really good and impactful season, but it's hard to watch because it's so different from anything that it's established thus far, and it gives them a problem that they can't like bend their way out. They can't fight their way out of it, you know?
Batman.
So yeah, Jet being apprehended and Zuko and Iroh being able to continue on in peace as they are actually trying to leave their old life behind them is good. But you see the means by which the Dai Li go to accomplish good things is fucked up. And that's the conceit. Like this is a very peaceful and prosperous place. We have the high walls, and we keep the Fire Nation out, and everybody who lives in Ba Sing Se lives in relative peace and harmony, and they get to just live in prosperity and do their own thing. The means by which we enforce that, however, if you look at them long enough, are really, really fucked up. And like the next couple episodes, you get to really take a deeper look into that. So that's very interesting.
Could you live in a society like that, Ryan, where you like have this security, these walls, you have a stable job, you can do all this stuff, you just can't acknowledge the fact there's a war going on?
Is that a trick question? Because that's you just described tonight. Like you literally described what's happening this evening.
What's going on this evening? Nothing at all. We're in the middle of February, March, something like that.
There is no election in the USA.
There is no election in 2021, that's for sure.
Jesus Christ.
Right, giving a quick update here. 131 to 98, Joe Biden is leading right now.
That's good. I like to hear that. I'm not putting stock in counted votes until all the votes are counted.
No, I get you. I just find it funny that currently speaking, he leads electoral college, but Trump's leading popular vote, and it's like, oh, could this be a reversal of what happened last time? Because I would actually approve of that. I would get a good laugh out of that.
I wouldn't, because we know one party is completely okay with changing the rules at any given time. So I want it to be a fucking blowout.
Nope, I get
just
you.
A blowout.
I get you. I'm more of the ironic win kind of person myself. So.
If the rules were going to be enforced fairly, then sure, I'll take an ironic win. But I have no faith in that.
Back to the episode then, before we get too out of the sorts here. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Longfang? I know we mentioned earlier that he's kind of an asshat, but good villain, bad villain, just what are your thoughts overall?
I mean, I think it's a very interesting intro to him, and again, like we get more into the moral complexities that we've already established, like at the very beginning of this season, where the fucking Earth General tries to fucking kidnap Katara to force Aang into the Avatar state. Like, so it's like from go, they were like, okay, guys, not everything is all roses in the Earth Kingdom. Like you're good. Like, you're gonna have to deal with some assholes in the group of people that you want to save. So we're gonna get into that more. And like the Earth General, he has, or at least he claims to have a noble goal, which is to maintain peace and prosperity for the citizens of the kingdom.
Well, to maintain prosperity for the rich people of the kingdom.
Well, yeah. Like that's what he would purport. That's what he would say. Like he would say, like, I'm trying to we're trying to maintain peace and security for all residents of Ba Sing Se. And to be true, all residents of Ba Sing Se are protected from the war by the walls. Now, the fact that a certain subsect of the kingdom are afforded much more spoils and are much prosperous than the rest of them isn't really something up for debate, because he doesn't deal with he's not an economist. He doesn't deal with the financial bit. All he is concerned about is the security of the kingdom at large, and that's what the Dai Li are for, and that's what they actually succeed in doing. However, the methods that are used, and the fact that the methods actively push them into more power, so that Dai Li also just pretty much makes all the decisions for the kingdom, that's not something that we get to know right off the bat. But from what's given to us in his introduction is really, really compelling, because he is a fucking sleazeball, but his method is working. And they kind of have to wrestle with that.
It makes me very disappointed to find out how his story ends, and it's like, oh, he actually was like a credible threat and was really good. It's just that he's obviously not as good as certain other villains we'll get to in a bit. But
when you get out-villained, I'm so sorry, homie.
Yeah, he's interesting. I like I said, I appreciate anything Clancy Brown does. His characters are almost always like the most fun to watch. I want to talk about Judy, but I want to save most of that for when we get to the Lake Laogai episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot more there than there is here for that. So, what is your thoughts on... I guess here's the next question. Is the gang right to kind of subvert the rules and try to do things their own way? Or is it better for them to follow the protocol of Ba Sing Se while they're here? Knowing full well that they have a timetable, of course.
I mean, I am fully in agreement with them trying to speed things up. I mean, like respecting the rules of like the city you're in is one thing, but like they are literally trying to save the entire world.
There's a saving the world tax.
So yeah, I think their timetable supersedes like the polite way to do things. All in all, they're actively just trying to get information to the king to save a lot of people, because the way they see it, Ba Sing Se is operating on outdated information, and if they don't let you know what they know, then it could be too late by the time you guys actually find out, and then you're all fucked. So them circumventing the rules to try and get this information to the king makes complete sense, and I support that 100%.
It's interesting you bring up the whole outdated information thing, 'cause that's exactly how the Siege of the North was going, where they started making plans, but Sokka even was like, hey, they don't wear uniforms like that, they don't do things like that, they haven't done this in forever. It makes you wonder how many big strongholds are there, like the Northern Water Tribe, like Ba Sing Se, that just don't have up-to-date information, and when push comes to shove, they fail because they weren't informed properly.
Yeah. I mean, now that we're talking about this, it's very interesting to consider that the attack that the Fire Nation launched on the fucking world left them really the only global force that was connected in terms of communication. Because what happened when the other three nations got attacked? They isolated themselves. The air nomads disapparated. The Earth Kingdom hid behind their walls, and the Water Nation went to the poles to try and defend their homes, and that made sense for them. But because they couldn't collaborate with the other people that were being attacked, you're absolutely right that the other force with the better communication was able to outsmart them at every turn, because it was a concentrated, concerted global effort against their enemies.
Well, and on top of that, too, the Fire Nation has proven time and again they are the more technologically advanced nation. They push and innovate new ideas and technologies all the time. Other nations are still not doing that, and while I can understand for certain places, like in the Northern Water Tribe, you live in a you live in ice, basically. There's not a whole lot you can really do with that. The Earth Kingdom has no excuse. There's so many spaces, so many places. I know that metal bending's not a thing yet, but once it gets there, boy, oh boy, do they advance really quick then.
Oh yeah, def. I think the advancement of the other nations largely comes in part with the gang and with Aang's work to travel the world to figure this stuff out. Because really, like, when you start seeing the actual successful blows against the Fire Nation, it's a team of multiple people from different lands that come together and actually get the shit done. And so, like, I think the more than the hope that Aang represents, he also reconnects the bonds between the places that he visits, so that when they move forward, they move together as one, rather than three separate nations trying to just hold on to what's theirs. They all work together to fight this common threat, and I think that's the biggest thing that turns the tide in the war. Rather than just one really powerful, really talented bender who's fucking 13 years old, he actually reminds you that you're all one people amidst different nations, and that combined, you guys can do anything.
Captain Planet.
Or it'll turn you into a fucking tree.
Couldn't resist. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other questions that would fit this episode really well, but I mean, we kind of hit the big ones. Only thing I could really ask is, Ryan, do you think you'd fit in at that big fancy party?
I've been to parties like that, so I could do it.
I don't think I could. I would be too busy in the corner on Twitter, just throwing shade at everybody there and be like, "Hey, did you see this guy? Hashtag bear attack. Hashtag lol," and just like constantly putting up pictures of it. Just like embarrassing.
Is that a
shots.
fucking bear at the dinner table, dog?
Mm-hmm.
All on TikTok, just like, yo. Like just do a TikTok with like a pan of like this long dinner table with like everybody dressed to the nines and having like really polite and like interesting conversation, and then you pan to the end and it just says one of these things is not like the other, and it's a fucking bear just like eating everything in sight.
Mm-hmm. No, overall, I like this episode. I think it's pretty good. I guess it reestablishes the tone, and it sets up the final act essentially, which is probably the best part of the season. I think, even though Blind Bandit's the best episode, this is going to be the best part of the season, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely it sets up a problem that they've never had to deal with before, and
bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy, and how they adjust to go against that is really, really interesting to watch as it unfolds.
I really wish Sokka would take on a Rick Sanchez vibe here. Just be like, kill the bureaucrats, Aang. I don't respect them.
They're automatons, Aang. Like, they have no feelings. He just like air saws through one of the dilate. Ah! I mean they're bureaucrats, Aang. I don't respect them.
Oh, we need a fan animation of that. That'd be great. That'd be perfect. If you want to send us your fan animations of Aang murdering bureaucrats, you could send that to Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. We'll share it with whenever we can see it. And Ryan, if they want to send that stuff to us directly, where can they send that to?
They can send that to angandmorty@gmail.com. Excuse me. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
That's just the most fun twist on that there. I love it.
I'd kill for like a Rick and Sokka episode.
Rick and Sokka would be great.
You think you're so fucking smart, Sokka? You think you because you have a fucking boomerang?
I could throw a boomerang if I wanted to.
Oh my god! Yo, guys, please, fan art. I need something. Just like Sokka trying to out-invent Rick and just getting fucking wrecked.
I'm trying to see if there's anything online, but there's nothing yet. This crossover has not been done in fan art yet.
Oh god. Alright, internet. You know what to do.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and rank the episode from gold to from platinum to bronze and all the colors in between. Ryan, let's start with the drill. Where'd you rank this one
at? So the drill, I like the drill. I really, really do. This is going to be the highest and weirdest bronze I've ever given, because I don't think there's anything wrong with the episode. I think visually it's a lot of fun. Combat wise, action wise, the drill as a set piece, fighting Azula's angels, all of that shit is really, really good. But it feels so different from the tone that has been set. It just feels out of place.
Very juxtaposing.
So, yeah. In terms of the juxtaposition of like the episode before it and the episode after it, it feels weird, and so it feels fillery. It's not, because plot happens, but it feels like an episode you just put in this place for reasons other than the story. So I still think it's a good episode, and I still think it's well executed. I just think in terms of flow, it doesn't really fit, so we'll give it a bronze for me.
I'd probably agree. I was going to go low silver, high bronze, somewhere in that ballpark. It's not bad. It's just, it's not as interesting as the stuff that's going on around it, and I think that's what drags it down the hardest. Is just everything else is so much better.
Definitely. That's really it. Like in a lesser show, that would have been a great episode. That would have been like a highlight episode. But it's not a lesser show, and everything else swings real hard. Everything else swings for the fences. So you gotta be top tier to get out of bronze.
Next up is City of Walls and Secrets. I'll go first, I guess, since you went first last one. I would give this a solid gold, actually.
Ooh.
I like political intrigue. I like the setup this is doing for it. I know one episode I'm pretty sure will get higher than this for the same reasons, because it delivers all the creepy underground bullshit. Spoilers. But this is definitely a great setup. It's a great introduction to Ba Sing-se, our next villain, our final act. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you got Clancy Brown. He deserves some of that credit too.
All right. I was going to go high silver because of all the reasons that you listed. However, I know it's just the introduction. It's just a taste, you know. Like it's a really good starting off point. Like where you're introduced to the city, you get to see the whole place that we're going to be for a while. You get an introduction to a very interesting villain, and you get a look behind the scenes when Jet is fucking taken to Lake Laogai. So all of these are really enticing morsels to get you like hooked for the rest of the season that's going to play out. I probably wouldn't give it a gold because I know what's coming next and like the bigger episodes that happen as a result of all of the groundwork that this lays. So for me, it's going to be a high silver.
I can respect that. Tune in next week when we will be covering 2 episodes that feel like filler, but man, they're going to hit harder than any of the other stuff we've talked about so far.
I'm not ready to cry yet.
So thank you for listening, and we'll see you after the credits.
Bye.
Okay.